Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we have for Wild Hearts, which is set to release on PlayStation, Xbox consoles, and PC on February 17th. And this is of course that brand new Hunter Monster type game that's being developed by Omega Force and Koei Tecmo in collaboration with EA. So today what we have is about 7 or so minutes of basically raw gameplay that they decided to provide us with. This is something that they spoke of last week when they basically told us that they would be showing more and more gameplay and basically more new weapons, more new things to actually showcase. What we did get to see specifically is a rather cut down version of one specific hunt and one brand new weapon, something that I'm gonna actually call a double saber. This is not an original name. I don't actually know the name of it. I'm sure it's gonna be up as they update their brand new blog. This is something that they do pretty much a few hours after they do a stream or something like that. They put up a brand new trailer, but it's basically a double saber from Phantasy Star Online. If you remember playing that game from back in the day on your Dreamcast, that's basically what this weapon is. Although it seems to have some sort of shuriken mechanic as well, as it has a throwing motion as well. So pretty much right out of the gate, one of the things that you should have been already seeing is that they really want to focus on the traversal of this game. They want to show you that those traps, those contraptions that you have access to are going to be something that you're going to be making use of, not necessarily just for the hunt, but also making your way to the monster itself. They did specifically talk about, and I did put out a developer interview video that I got to cover, where essentially they talk about this is going to be like very much Monster Hunter in the sense of like these are open areas. You're going to be able to traverse from one point to another. Presumably you start up your event or hunt in the beginning of the map, and then you make your way through the map all the way to where the monster is. The monster will be moving around. This is something that they decided to also showcase in this very specific hunt. So they showed 3 of these contraptions, one to kind of like fling themselves up forward with a propeller type of gliding motion like Breath of the Wild made extremely popular. Another one is simply a zip line that you basically zip line your way to whatever the anchor point is set up at, and another one is a little bit of a jumping one without the little propeller. So they pretty much decided to use that. They also show it 2 or 3 separate times. They show the hammer. Once again, this is basically a KO attack. This is actually when they're fighting the big tusk monster, or the Poogie King, if you will. That's what I'm going to be addressing it as. Once they're fighting the Poogie King, they're basically showcasing a little bit of a hammer. That's just a straight up stun. It doesn't necessarily seem to be anything new. They showcase the bomb once again. They drop a bomb and it's just a big explosion. So that is, you know, another one of those. A new one that we actually got to see was a big gate that kind of they drop in. The contraption builds itself up, and then it's just this big ass gate just kind of builds up in front of the hunter, and it's used essentially as a wall for when the monster is going to charge, they instantly just knock themselves over, you know. So it doesn't necessarily hit the outer bounds area of the map or the arena where they're fighting at. They were fighting in this like big middle arena with like a big cherry blossom tree right in the middle. They basically just put up the contraption, this big door, like Japanese looking door gate, if you will, kind of built up, and then it instantly just knocked itself over and it just fell over. So it was pretty interesting to see that. There is environmental destruction. We did get to see like a couple of like environmental things just kind of break as the monster, just the big Poogie King, if you will, begins to knock things over a little bit. So there is environmental destruction in that regard. We don't necessarily know if there's going to be things you as a hunter are going to be breaking, but the monsters themselves can actually break things to kind of be able to move around. Throughout the actual hunt itself, you do get to see like the hunter, which is using the longsword. The second hunter is actually using the little parasol, and then the third one eventually comes in with the double sabers and then just kind of closes out the hunt. We do get to see a moment where the parasol user kind of like flings themselves upward with this contraption, the trap. They used a little glider to fling themselves up forward and then go directly for the tusk of the Poogie King, and then they break off the tusk. So there wasn't any tail cutting. There wasn't like a broken armor type of thing happening with the Poogie King himself, but they did cut off his tusk, and then he instantly went in rage and regrew it back again. So it ended up looking like Not only do the monsters have some sort of enraged state as well, which I'm sure this is something that they're really going to focus on in the blog, presumably that they're going to talk about, but they can regrow parts. So the Poogie King basically regrows the tusk that he broke, and the other tusk that wasn't broken just got way longer and bigger. It changed colors. That's something you should be able to see in the gameplay itself. So presumably monsters and rages not only provided with a brand new type of regeneration feature, but also changes the way that they act, because it basically became fully enraged and it was attacking way more aggressive than before, which was really interesting. Now, as far as the brand new weapon, the double saber, it seemed like they didn't really showcase it all that much. It very much feels like just two blades stuck together. Basically that what would you call it? That I don't know much about Star Wars, but like they very much feel like those like doubles. There was a character that had like two lightsabers or something stuck together. It was like an evil guy or something, Darth Maul or something. So like that feels very much like that. He's just swinging around two swords that are stuck together back and forth. At some point, like I mentioned before, they showcase it turning into a shuriken, but that was pretty much about it. They didn't showcase it too much. They very much focus a lot on the longsword user. There is some interesting thing happening there regarding like the final attack scene where I guess the hunter or one of the hunters gets to have like a finishing blow on it, which is something that I found interesting. I'm not sure if it was just for the trailer. I'm not necessarily sure if it's something that is just gonna have typically happening in the game itself. They did close off the trailer showcasing the bird monster once again. This is one of the monsters that we have seen already. So presumably whatever the next gameplay trailer is gonna be, they did showcase it in a brand new area as well, different area than the one that they had showcased before. So presumably whatever the next gameplay trailer we do get to see is going to be in a brand new area, a brand new biome. Remember, there's different biomes here, just like Monster Hunter. Now, how many of those biomes we're actually going to get, we don't necessarily know. However many weapons we're going to get, we don't necessarily know. We know of 4 weapons already. We know of about 6 different monsters. And at the very least, we know of 3 separate biomes. The ice biome, the one that they showcased right now, and the one that they teased at the back end of the video. I'm going to be showing that little clip looping right there for you to be able to see it. So at the very least, we know of 3 biomes. I don't know if they showed off a fire biome yet. I don't think they did. So, presumably there will be one of those types. But for now, 3 maps, 4 weapons, and 6 or 7 monsters that we have seen. A lot of people were very skeptical in the original trailer, wondering just how many monsters are going to be. We don't know. They're just teasing the game right now. They're not necessarily, blowing it all out. I'm sure as we lead up to the launch of it, they're going to provide us with more details. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. I found it interesting. It was good. It was a good showcasing. I will say this, and I cannot necessarily not mention this. The bitrate for this video was atrocious. And every single time that they showcase this game, for whatever reason, it looks like they just straight up captured it off of Twitch. So the bitrate is just real bad. Like the game is just looking like it. I don't know. Like if people don't necessarily know like what it's actually going on, it seems to me like they capture the game off of like a really either a really bad video card, bad video capture, or just like the bitrate is being limited with whatever capturing devices they're using. So they're throwing it up on YouTube, and it looks like the bitrate is just chugging. And it looks like there's tons of lack of detail, and you're not necessarily sure what it is going on. So people who don't necessarily know, they're going to be like, wow, this game doesn't necessarily look all that good. Which is some of the comments that I've already seen since the last trailer, saying that the game doesn't look good. But that is because the bitrate is atrocious, and whatever capture that they're using is not actually direct feed. It looks like it's being streamed, but it isn't actually being streamed because it's going live on YouTube as a pre-recorded video. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they're showcasing it that way. Just put up direct feed captured gameplay. I'm sure they're showing the PC version to begin with. I don't think this is a PS5 version or the Xbox version, because another thing that I also need to point out is that they haven't showcased the HUD at all. Like we don't know what the HUD looks like. In the entire gameplay that we got to see today, and you guys were watching the video, they didn't showcase any HUD. So I don't necessarily know why they would even be trying to hide that. And the bitrate looking as low as it is, making it look more like just atrocious. And then in the re-upload right now, you're probably going to see it and it's going to look even worse, because that's just what happens with YouTube. I don't know why they're choosing to do that. So if I have a criticism, is please do a direct capture feed and make sure you have like direct capture footage, because right now the bitrate looks like you're just streaming off of Twitch, which already looks bad as it is. But that's about all I wanted to talk about with this game. I'm interested on it for sure. Certainly going to be covering more news, and I'm sure there's going to be more developer interviews coming out, which I also want to cover heading into the future for whatever the next trailer is going to be. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.